everyone. How are you today? Sorry about the break earlier. The title of this one is The Dog Ate My Internet Cable. Really? Anyway, just that's really what I wanted to come back on for, is just to tell you that, and I appreciate the fact there were people in here who are watching, and my apologies for the technical glitch. Yeah, maybe we can actually use that. Let me see. Use that excuse more often. Huh? Oh, things went down. The dog ate the cable. Sorry, it was a fiber optics cable, but going earlier today, and I do want to a big shout out of appreciation for our state director in Virginia who did drop in for a little bit and say hi, and I miss them. They are definitely good people. So that's where we are. We were talking about the poem that we had was published this morning in our newsletter, or like an opinion piece, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there's a lot of things out there that we absolutely have to be aware of, and that's one of them. Is about in the year 2025, we have to really push back against a lot of stuff. There's a lot of organizations and people who are well funded who are coming to remove us from the whole of government, from the whole of the federal enterprise, and they want it to go across all the states as well. And they use words like erase and delete and excise, and they call us unreal and unnatural. And then in the next paragraph, they're going, they don't even deserve protections of the First Amendment. Really? Really? Yes, that's what they say. That is what they say. I'm sorry, I had some chili just a second ago while I was getting ready to go back on this show. But anyway, yeah. So we've been talking about this for a long time. It is Project 2025. It's produced, and I guess the collaborative effort was led by Paul Dans, and I think it's Steve Groves and Dr. Kevin Roberts at the Heritage Foundation, in collaboration with numerous other organizations. At least 70 other organizations signed on to help with this, as well as hundreds and hundreds of people. And they began collaborating on this in 2022. And I know I've been saying that for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 days, whatever it might be, but it's important that we actually take a stand on this. It's important that we push back against this kind of thing and call it out for what it is, because it is really, really, really horrible. Okay. So we've got to do something about it. We've got to do something about that. We cannot just say the old way of doing things, turning the other cheek, running and hiding from it, not going to work. It hasn't worked. Look where it got us. We've got to fight them and go after them. Otherwise we will cease to exist. If they get the presidency in January of 2025, as soon as that person, whomever it might be, raises their right hand and they say, "So help me God," on January the 20th, noon Eastern, 2025, when that occurs, Heritage and Alliance Defending Freedom and America First Legal and a whole bunch of other extreme organizations, okay? And that's really what this is. This is an extreme manifesto. And they're trying to make it sound like it's not. But I'm going to tell you, at the very beginning, before you even make it into the discussions on all the different things that they want to do, They tell you plainly and clearly who they are, and what they believe, and what they expect from us as minorities in this country. They don't. They want to. Let me just put it like this: they want to whitewash the whole of government. Literally. If you don't believe it, read the first few pages of that document. Go check it out. It's on our website. You can check out the website. Go check that thing out because, they're serious about this. They are serious about it. And it is a real and present danger to us and our existence, period. It is. That's all it is. That's all you can say about it because, it is, that's what it is. And I read that thing and I can't get past the first few pages because they're telling us who they are. They put it in a book. They wrote it. Presidential candidates on that side of the fence have already read through and agreed to it. They are planning. Let me just tell you what they're planning to do. And I'll give a little backstory, a little bit of history about this. Okay, but Heritage Foundation was created or founded sometime in the mid-'70s. Okay, and then they created in 79 and 80. They created this thing called a mandate for leadership or something like that. And whenever Ronald Reagan took up, did the "So Help Me God" at noon Eastern on the 20th of January, this was handed to him. He had already seen it. He already knew what was going on with it. He was involved in all these organizations anyway. So they accomplished 60% of that document in the within 100 days or so of Reagan becoming president. And that did not have the structure and organization and level of detail that Project 2025 has. Project 2025, my gosh, they're looking to hire thousands and thousands, 20,000 people, not hire them, but vet them, people across the country, people all across the country. They want to vet all these people, bring them together, train them in some academies, make sure that they can get their clearances and all that kind of stuff. They are ready to roll these things out as soon as a conservative president raises their right hand and says, "So help me God." They want to go, here's the people you need. We've already vetted them. They're clear. Put them in. Across the whole of the executive branch of government, in every agency, program, and department. Why would they want to do that? You would think, oh, they're not trying to get rid of the federal government. Oh, yeah, they are. What they're doing is they want to immediately implement this thing that's called Schedule F. I don't know if you've heard Schedule F, but basically it enables the president to tell someone who is a long-term, who is an experienced person within the federal government that, hey, we're getting rid of you. Right now, they can't do that. And yeah, there's likely some bad things going on, but not much. These people are career people within these agencies and departments. They know how the thing works. They've worked it for years. They do the best they can with what they've got, and they've got livelihoods and families to take care of too. But if you do the Schedule F thing, then what happens is it frees up the president to say, okay, we don't need you across the whole government, and move in all these 20,000 people or so who have been vetted by Heritage Foundation. And then they go in, and their first target, their first goal, you know what the first thing is? The very first goal is to go into every regulation, policy, every law, everything, every procedure, whatever, and across everything, all departments, but to go in there and find every single one of them that have words like this in it: sexual orientation, gender identity, diversity, equity, inclusion, gender sensitivity, gender identity, gender expression, abortion even. And even references to things like DE&I. And what they didn't specify exactly. They left it wide open at the end of that particular sentence and said, and whatever else that is a violation of the First Amendment rights. Okay, and I'm thinking, hypocrisy much here? Really? So anyway, so they want to look at everything and scour every policy out there to remove things that don't create a colorblind policy, rule, regulation across the whole of government. Colorblind in the sense of race and ethnicity and gender and sexuality and sexual orientation, gender expression, abortion, African American. They just want it to be, we're all the same. Talk about a bunch of robots. We'd all look like the people over in the Heritage Foundation. That's what it sounds like they want. And yeah, I can go on and talk about all this. And I don't know if I've talked more than like 10 minutes so far on this one, but I don't want to take a lot of time today because I want to beat up on it again tomorrow. But the big thing I want you to get from this one is that, let me see if I can get my dog back up here on the screen. I'm going to take my Have a great rest of the afternoon and come back tomorrow, 11 Central, noon Eastern time. You can find us on the websites. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. And like I said, it's also embedded on our websites live, so you can catch it there as well. Again, this is Cassandra Williamson, Executive Director for Transgender and Diverse Veterans of America Action Group, Inc. That's the hat that I'm speaking from. Mostly, more often than not, whenever I'm out here doing these shows. But yeah, we're going to have to do more. We're going to have to do them at different times too. So I need input. I need writers. I need creators. I need people to come in and help make this happen. And in closing, there's one thing I want to ask of anyone who's watching. Do you know how many LGBT people are in the United States? According to estimates, it's 7.1% of the U.S. population is LGBTQ plus. That turns out to be about, 23 million people? If just half of those, or any number of those, a large number of them, 23 million of them would be great, but if every one of them or many of them could give and help us get at least $1 a month on a recurring basis, then we would be able to fight against this monstrosity that has $265 million in their war chest to implement their program and shove us out of existence. Yeah. And among all those organizations that have all worked collaboratively to produce Project 2025, they've come up with $22 million to implement Project 2025. But they're doing that now. They're going to roll this thing out. And if they take the White House next time around or the time after or whenever, but if they take the White House, they are going to clean house and we will cease to exist. If you think that's overly dramatic, no, you need to read that document and believe what they say when they say it. They put it in print, in a book, in a PDF document. It's there. Believe it. They mean it. If you ignore it, you do it at your own peril. Back to the dog. See y'all later.